Hello traders, welcome to today's session where we'll be looking at for you an insight into what the webinars will be each day during my subscription service. This is where I get a little bit more detailed and I talk about the trading opportunities that I'm looking at for the session coming up. And you'll be hopefully watching the free video which just gives you an overview of the market where I talk about the economic calendar and what we've got coming up and the broad-based strokes of what caused the price action during the day. So therefore you're ready to move into something a little bit more detailed. So today pretty much the US dollar index is the focus for the currency moves, and the durable goods is the only data that could potentially move that along with Fed Evans' speech. During the European session, I think that the overall price action will continue on from the flow-on effects of data from last night, where the Great British Pound was sold off due to a contraction in inflation due to the CPI results. They also had weak housing miss and a weak PPI. So what all this means is I believe that the UK economy will be the next to raise rates after the US. But with this data that's coming in flat to weak, it means that they're going to push out their interest rate hike longer and longer. I don't believe it's going to be this year at all, and I don't think there's a chance of that. So right now the market's not anticipating them to raise rates anytime soon, and as a result, for all this weak data, the pound's actually going to start to come under pressure as the market starts to expect further delays in raising rates. So that's the psychology behind the fundamentals, and from that we look for opportunities to try and profit from it. Where from the US point of view, we are looking for US dollar strength and whether the bulls will come back in now that it does look like we will get an interest rate rise at some stage this year. It's just a guessing game, and the market will continually play the guessing game on the back of when the Fed will raise rates. Now that the Fed said that it's going to be a data-based dependent decision, the fundamentals that come out, like on this calendar, will become more and more important. Last night's CPI was a very important one because the Fed's basically said that inflation will play an important role in the decision of when they raise rates. So the fact that it improves should definitely help the US dollar. And I think that we should concede that tonight. And unless something else throws that out of whack, I think that we will have opportunities to move. So let's get rid of the calendar. Let's go to the US dollar index. I'm now on a 1 hourly chart, and we had this big bounce and we've had a pullback. I am looking for a breakout of yesterday's high and then the dollar index to move into this region. And on the back of that, I'll then go to my charts and try to find opportunities to go long US dollar against certain pairs, particularly the Great British Pound, because I think that we can see that it's under broad-based weakness due to its weak data last night, and the market will still remember that. All right, so that's my chart. I am looking for support in this area here, and then a breakout of there, and then knowing that and believing that we will see some US dollar strength on the fundamentals, I then go to my charts and look for opportunities. So I'm going to show you some trading methods, but prior to the subscription service, and that is to give you some education and information exactly how I trade, because it is a subscription service where I'm showing you exactly what I do and how I make money, and therefore you can potentially tailor that towards your own trading. If you are looking for some sort of proven trading strategy and system, well then perhaps you can mimic mine and start your trading journey there. So what I call a candle formation like this is a key reversal day, and that's on a daily chart, and it's where this candle, which is yesterday's from the price action, went higher than the previous day's high, but closed lower than the previous day's close, okay? And it's the opposite for a key reversal day like we had here, where it went lower than the previous day's low and closed higher than the previous day's high. And I call that a key reversal day. So when I'm trading, I will be mentioning a key reversal day, and there is a particular way that I trade it to look for some profit opportunities. I then move to some shorter time frames. Mainly the 1 hourly chart is what I trade off, and right now I'll be looking for, I'm going to have to zoom out to get a better indication here, and right now you can see that we did have the highs. It rejected 77 cents, a whole round number, and that's quite common, and I believe that with some US dollar strength tonight we will get the price action coming down and testing 76 cents. And if it does break below 76 cents, I believe that there's some shorting opportunities there. So I'll be looking for things like that. The Australian dollar is also one that I'm following for the exact same reason. It's a key reversal day. If I go to the 1 hour chart, you can see that we've got the highs, and it's a little bit more clearer here than what we had on the New Zealand. And if we draw the trend line up through that session, we will see that we haven't made a new low yet. That's the low. A breakout of this low is definitely an opportunity where I will scalp and I will chase 10 pips, risking 20 pips. Many of you may say that that's a quite unusual risk-reward ratio, but I do it with a very high win-loss ratio and high probability, and you have to select those trades very carefully to maintain that high probability. Now, I am up around the 87% for that particular strategy win-loss ratio. I need to keep statistics and make sure that I am executing it with the right level of consistency for it to be profitable in the long term. You can also see here on the hourly chart, we do have a shoulder forming and we have a shoulder there. So it could be also a head and shoulders pattern where if the market was to break below this low here, you might have the opportunity in the European session to get in short there. So I'll be looking for an opportunity there. Now, if I was to get in on the back of a broad-based sell-off on this key reversal, I would actually be entering here shorting, putting my stop loss back above. I'd probably just put it just above the 79 cent. Working out my risk would be close to, say, 50 pips. That'll tell me how many lots I can trade off, and then I'll be shorting it for the longer term, probably to a run to getting out just before 78 cents. So my reward is going to be 150 pips. I'll also compound on top of that the breakout of this previous low here, which I would chase 10 pips for. Okay, so that's how I stack my trades and how I look to capitalize on the returns. The Great British Pound is also another trade that I'll be looking at due to the weakness, and we spoke about that in the fundamentals. Now, if I go to the 1 hourly chart, and I'm sorry if it doesn't get clear for you because I've got to zoom out just so we can get a big picture, but we had the sell-off here and we broke below $1.79. These are the previous uptrend lines. It is in the consolidation, so it is quite messy, but we did take out the lows here of the previous. I did talk about a trade here last night, which we did manage to bank 10 pips off, and it was quite reliable, so that's quite nice. And now we are looking for a swing trade opportunity, and this is where, sorry about that, that's a previous video loading. This is where I'm looking for resistance being tested before it continues to fall away on previous areas of support. So historically, I'd expect anywhere between here and $1.49 to act as resistance, and then I'm looking for it to fade away and to come down and chase the $1.48 region. So there might be an opportunity there to short it. I'm going to give you some insight as to when I actually pull the trigger, and I go to the 5-minute chart, and you'll see here I have a 13 EMA and I have a 55 EMA. When the 13, which is just about to cross the 55 now, I'd be looking to enter, given that it's 2 minutes to the end of the hour here at the particular time before the European session starts. It's perfect timing at the open of a European session for this cross to happen, as the European session is going to kick in, and I believe we will see continue on weakness on the Great British Pound. So I would enter here and I'd put my stop loss. At this particular case, I'd probably put it up to 10 pips above this previous high that we're trading. Therefore, if this cross is real and not a fake one, in other words, the market doesn't come back up and retest, I will continue to see it move to the downside. If this is a false one and it comes up and tests the $1.49, then whips back down and gives a much better signal on the 1 hourly, my fundamentals and the reasons for the change for the trade don't change. I'll get back in and I will short it. I won't get defeated by that loss. I cop it on the chin because you do take losses in trading, and I'll enter back in short for the exact same reasons. I'd put my stop loss up here and would go again. So for me, it's looking like a nice entry on the Great British Pound right now. Given 2 minutes time, we will get the end of the hourly candle, which will be a bearish one, and we will have got a confirmed cross of these two moving averages. I do wait for the end of the 5-minute candle, and I do like the crosses to be around the 1 hour candle ending mark. So a little bit of insight there for you, and I'll use that for a lot of swing trading. The euro, I could be looking to do the same, and you'll see there here we have a head and shoulders pattern where this trend line here is a major down trend line that we've been speaking about in the videos. You'll see there, the dark blue one. Now it's spiked above that, and now it's trading back below, and it's testing the back of it and fading away. We do have a head and shoulders pattern as a result, shoulder, shoulder, and a head. We also have support here at $1.09. So a breakout of $1.09 is an entry on this particular opportunity, and you could take the opportunity for quite a few pips. The next major support level isn't down to 107.7, so there is 130 pips there to be had potentially. I don't try to chase all the pips. I don't get greedy. I just like to take the meat of the sandwich, take the big chunk. If I go to the 5 minute and it's the end of the hour, as I mentioned, we don't quite have that cross yet. So I'm not willing to enter early just yet on this particular one because the end of the hour has just ticked over on this candle and we don't have the cross. So maybe it's not ready to move lower and get momentum just yet for myself. So I'll be waiting for a break below this support level, or I'll be waiting for a very convincing 1 hourly candle and an EMA cross to the downside on this particular one. But it's definitely a trade that I'm stalking for a few pips as well. All right, so that's some insight. Now, what I'll also be doing is I'll be looking at particular charts. So in my videos lately, many of you would note that I have been trading the Australian versus the New Zealand, this downward channel. We got in up here at $1.44, and I've sent out a message just letting you know that I did take profit yesterday on $1.26. So there's 180 pips there, and that was quite nicely banked, and I've taken profit. And I haven't forgotten about the fundamental reason why I took this trade in the channel in the first place. It was just a technical reason for taking profit. And if there is an opportunity to short it, I will be looking at it again. These ideas that I come up with, I don't just trade them and then move on to the next one. And I don't just jump back into the trade at the first sign either. It's got to be a very planned, and I'm always stalking trading opportunities. So here's the downtrend of this particular move, and we could come up and test this area before we get rejected, or this is the retracement move, I guess you could say. And as soon as we get a rejection either to the high side or to the low side, there's potentially a trading opportunity there. I'd like some fundamentals behind it as well. So let's look at some more trading opportunities. I've shown you a few that I'm looking at. So today, the Great British Pound is definitely one. Last night I posted a trade on the Great British Pound versus the Yen, and that was a breakout of this triangle right here. And I mentioned due to the weak CPI, there was a breakout opportunity. If you took that trade and you took profits before $1.78, as I did, and then you could have re-entered on the bounce on the longer term view that data was actually very weak. And I do believe momentum is going to continue to the downside. So what that means is I'm willing to hold short pound positions on these currency pairs like the Great British Pound versus the Japanese Yen and the Great British Pound versus the US for a longer period due to the fundamentals. So that's why I can sleep at night. I don't believe that there's going to be anything I'm going to wake up one day and this is going to be skyrocketing north because the pound has raised interest rates spuriously, because I'm following the fundamentals and I have great confidence in why I'm holding these positions. So this was the major low of the triangle, and this was the high that we're looking to break out of here in the news. Now that the market has broken below, it ducked below it and found a bit of support and went above, but then momentum got carried away in the US session as soon as we've seen some US dollar strength kick in, and we are below that. Now you can see in today's Asian session, we did come up and test the back of that. So that support has now become resistance and the market's fading away. I do believe now that this trade will continue to fade and we will get down and test this previous low, which is the low of the triangle. Okay, and we will get down to 77 cents. And we continue to add to these positions. So I'll be trading in the Asian session, and potentially this low that we've seen last night, if it breaks below that in the European session in peak period, where there's high volume and high orders for shorting the pound and the pound's getting momentum, I will also trade a breakout of that low chasing 10 pips to also compound my longer term short of this particular pair. Okay, so there's another trading opportunity there that I'm looking at as well. So hopefully this gives you an insight on, I'll be getting into more detail on the charts and the trading patterns. You would have already done a lead-up seminar with me on the trading strategies. There will be 3 major strategies that I'll be teaching you that I trade every day. I do have lingo and terms like key reversal day and things like that that I'll be using, and that will become far more clearer to yourself and you can follow my trades. I will also be trading a live account on an MT4 platform, fully funded, and you will actually get a view-only login details to that account so you can see the trades I'm placing in live real time. So I want this to be 100% transparent so that you are having an experience where you are trading alongside another professional trader and you can get some sort of idea exactly how we do it. You may have preconceived ideas that we're constantly trading and just constantly making money, but it's not the case. We stalk a lot of trades and we hold a lot of patience, and consistency is the key, not making 100 pips or 200 pips a day or anything silly like that, because you can only make what the market's willing to give you, and sometimes you need to know when to sit on your hands. So it's a game of patience. Well, this is just a short video to give you some insight into the subscription service. Go follow me at Forex Nation TV at Facebook, and that's where I'll be updating more videos like this and also the details for the subscription service. I'm right now developing the website where there will be a members only back area and where my videos will be, my webinars each day will be recorded and uploaded. Charts like this, charts of the day, will be recorded and uploaded, and also live updates each day on the account's profit, loss, balance, and things like that. We'll talk about statistics, and then I'll be also publishing some just general articles on trading. So I look forward to hopefully meeting you all and having you trade alongside me in the future, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you do follow us on Facebook to keep up to date with when we will be launching this service. Until then, trade well.